record. Perfect. All right. And can everybody see my screen, my slides that I'm sharing? Awesome. All right, y'all. Well, thank you so much again for volunteering for the 2025 Houston Hackathon. Um, we are doing a pretty tight check-in. I just wanted to have a chance for us to connect and for y'all to kind of see each other before we're about to be a 1 week away. Well, we basically are a week away from the kickoff event. And so what we're going to do today is, as I go through this, I'm going to give you a quick update on where we are with RSVPs and just like general status update leading up to the kickoff. We'll go over the updated schedule just for your reference. And then we'll jump into a little bit of the volunteer roles and what to expect and just how will we work best together, as we kick things off, and then we'll wrap up with any pending needs. So when we jump into volunteer roles or anything like that, if you have any questions, you can just come off mute and ask the question, just so that we can move things along. And I see Maria has now joined too. Welcome, Maria. All right, so the first part of the status update is that we are actually at over 170 RSVPs. So yay. Amazing. Now, everybody won't show up day of, and then stuff. We have received a few emails from folks that are requesting they can't show up at the kickoff, but they want to participate. And so I'll walk through kind of what to tell people if you're running into that in that question as well. So yeah, over 170 RCPs, super exciting. So far the combination seems to be just based on what we put on Eventbrite, a mix of the student, entrepreneur, people that are identifying as coders, and then a little bit less on the creative and design. So that might be an area where we want to invite some more creatives as well to pop in. And then mostly everyone else just signed up under the general registration ticket. So, other than that, status update, where are we? Um, we were able to confirm, oh, and I'm letting in Grace know as well. Perfect. We were able to confirm snacks for all the hackers day of, so y'all will be getting fed. Impact Hub might also be sponsoring in some food, so y'all can have a little bit more substance while you're there. We have about, I think, is it about 15 volunteers total that will be supporting Day Up as well in different capacities. So that's exciting. We were able to get a portion of our t-shirts sponsored. So there will be a limited number of t-shirts. So as our volunteers, since you will be getting there early, you'll basically get first dibs on selecting a size. So that'll be Day Of. And we have already also received several challenges from the city that we're just working on getting access to their files so that we can share it with folks on Slack. The Slack channel has been launched. You are all in the Slack channel. Right on the chat, just in case if you have not received your access to our volunteer channel within the Houston Hackathon Slack, please let us know so we can get you set up. But basically, after today, we're going to be transitioning into communicating with y'all through that volunteer Slack channel because it'll just be easier. That way, everybody's on the same page. And then let's see what else. I think in general, that's the general status update. In case anybody missed the info session on the 5th of August, wow, time really flew by. If anybody missed the info session, this is a civic hackathon, and it's a sort of a combination of some of the other hackathons that exist, which some are very focused on. We're building out a business idea today, or we're building out a tech platform today, or we're solving for like a social impact challenge. Our hackathon kind of combines all those things, so that is what will be expected. People will be arriving, and this is also for added context because you might get asked these questions day of. People will be arriving. They will have an opportunity to connect with others that are there, form teams, pick a problem that they want to solve that day, spend a few hours brainstorming, designing, and building some type of solution. They'll continue working through the weekend, and if they want their challenge to actually be submitted, then they'll submit that through Dev Post so that judges can actually score and then ultimately help us select our top three solutions. So that's the gist of the hackathon in case you missed that. And then our partners are those that you see on the screen. So we have Impact Hub represented by myself. Grace now has joined us well, and Maria, City of Houston, the Ion, who is our venue host, January Advisors, who were some of our OG hackathon folks back in 10 plus years ago. Good Sparrow, who you guys met already, Tech 23, Jeff, Paxton Photography, Latinas in Tech, and Energy Tech Nexus. And we have Jason here representing them as well. Okay, any questions so far before I jump into the updated schedule? Let me see, I see some things in the chat.
I
I
just
missed
asked a
it.
question about, is it like specific rooms at the Ion where they get to break out, or is it going to be the downstairs staircase or that underground location?
Yes, so, and I'll pop over to the schedule for that. We are kicking off and the main staircase. But before that, there's a couple of pre-activities that are being organized by a couple of other folks. So any early risers, and all of this is already on the Eventbrite page, can join the Cup of Joey. This takes place on the top level floor, starts at 8:30. And then at 11, there's also a design workshop that one of our Impact Cup Houston members is doing in one of the classrooms. So those are two separate events. They're happening that morning and they're happening right up to the kickoff time. Then our kickoff is we have the actual check-in to start at noon, but early check-in, because people will probably get there early just with everything that's happening, will start at 11:30. So our day of volunteers, you'll probably be supporting during the check-in table to kick things off. Um, After we're done with a lot of these initial announcements, and so as you can see, we're going to be doing opening remarks. We'll be then jumping into like, what is this for everybody whose first time it is, which a lot of you mentioned it's your first time, so it'll help all of us get back on track. And then we'll start presenting some of the challenges. We'll kick off with the challenges from the city, and then we'll do the open mic. So anybody can come up and say, okay, here's the challenge I want to work on. Who wants to work on it with me? And so basically at that time, once we're done with all of that at 1, we're kind of done in the staircase. You can still hang out there if you want, but we have a couple of large classrooms that are also reserved for the hackathon that are behind the stage, if that's the right way to say it, in the open area. You'll be able to pop into any of those rooms as well for the remainder of the event. And then obviously you can work basically anywhere that's public space and at the Ion as well. So that's logistically for the space. And then Jason asked, I missed it. What time do you want us there? Day of? Yes. Day of, you can arrive between 11 and 11:30. Earlier helps you secure a parking spot because it will be a busy morning. And then reminder, parking at the Ion is free for up to 3 hours. And then if what we're going to advise everyone, if you don't want to pay the $6 fee after, set a timer, go move your car, and it basically resets the timer if you move it out and move it back in. Okay, let me just checking this Slack to make sure, I mean the chat, to make sure there's no other questions. Okay. And so then other things you might I didn't mention here after, like, okay, people start forming their teams. That's when we're kind of break for lunch. We are going to have a couple of lightning talks to help everybody get on the same page about rapid prototyping. How does that work? We're working on finalizing our speaker because clearly the amount of time they have to work on this is limited. So you can't do the full blown out like testing process. You have to do it a little bit faster. So we'll have a quick session on how to do that. And then we'll also have a quick session on how to prepare basically your submission is through a pitch deck, right? So we'll walk people through how to do that and how to use the deck. Then we have here, for some of y'all that are signed up as mentors and coaches, we have the official coaching sessions to start later in the day because we're letting people get organized. You're kind of getting a vibe by hearing challenges of like what people will be working on. But once people start getting sort of organized into huddles, into their teams and their tables, that's when we'll officially say, okay, the coaches and the experts are going to start walking around now. And I'll walk through a little bit more about how that will work in just a second. Any questions on the kickoff schedule before I go to the weekend schedule? Okay, perfect. So then for us, again, we mentioned we're only hosting officially until 4 p.m. on Friday, which also means for our volunteers, especially for the day of volunteers, at 4, then we kind of switch over to clean up and set down to making sure like we're leaving things tidy, putting the signs up away, all those things. However, the hackers, any participants, and if yourselves, you're going to be also participating, the Ion itself stays open until officially until 7. So they can continue working in this space, but it would no longer be hosted like by us, right? So we'd clean everything out. The screens would be like back to their normal selves, and they can now work out of the open areas that are there at the Ion until 7 that Friday. What happens next is whatever teams were formed, basically they self-organize through the weekend. So they will say, okay, let's meet up tomorrow at 10 a.m. on Zoom, or let's meet up at the coffee shop or wherever they want to meet to keep working. And they'll do that all the way up through the deadline to submit, which is Sunday, 11:45 p.m. online, which is the dev post link. Then it moves over to judges scoring things early the following week, and then we announce winners September 12th. Any questions on this? Makes sense. Okay, and then I'm not going to jump into the challenges just a second, but we do have, like I mentioned, some challenges already set up and more coming soon. So jumping into today's combo about the volunteer roles, go back. All right, the original roles that we had set up are on the screen right now. I identified some of y'all that are mentors already, some are their general volunteers. Do we have any others that are doing the marketing outreach other than Good Sparrow that are on the call? Don't think so. Okay. We do have others that are doing day of like marketing and blogs. They're going to write some blogs. I'm excited for that. So I'm just going to go one at a time. For our raise your hand emoji or something if you are one of our experts and mentors. See Janaea and probably you too, Jason, either. I'm volunteering you. And then of course, there's a few others. Okay, so for the mentors and experts, the main goal here is that you'll try to advise the teams on their problem statements, especially once you get to see the deck, like the template of what they're submitting, help them get to a place where they can like actually answer those questions in summary, right? Um, if you depending on whether or not it's like the team is working on something that is your area of focus. If you have extra resources for them, please share them. If it's not, if you pop into a table and it's not really your area of expertise and you feel like, I'm not sure if I can contribute here, just pop over to another table. So we are not assigning like a mentor per table. The mentors are actually like floaters. So you get to walk around and decide, to advise. We do have at least 5 mentor experts signed up already. We are looking for more mentors and experts as well. So if y'all know anyone, you'll get this deck after the volunteer form is still open for mentors and experts. Let's see. Any questions on that, Janae? You're all good? Okay, good. All right, thanks. And then we'll probably provide you a few more resources right before the kickoff day for all the mentors, kind of like questions you can ask, and that type of setup. Okay. All right. For our sponsor and outreach team, I'm not sure if we have any of those on the call right now, but we are continuing to just reach out to anyone that wants to support, just to make the day like extra fun, right? Especially with the amount of people that we have coming out. I mentioned we already have like snacks and beverages. We have some swag. I would say we're probably still looking for like any giveaways, maybe even like what are some giveaways that the participants could take home with them? We are also still collecting prizes. So we're gathering from some of our partners what could be some prizes that the top 3 winners get. There are a few already listed in the dev post. But if y'all think of anything else or if you know anyone that says, hey, I want to pitch in to provide a sponsor for like the top challenge, just put them in contact with us and we can talk through that with them, see what it can look like. Okay. Marketing and outreach team, as I said, our goal was actually originally 100 plus, and then I switched this to 150 plus, and now we're 170 plus. So I think we're doing well. we did one of our volunteers that's on the call right now also reached out to several student organizations at the University of Houston, inviting them to also sign up. So that'll help diversify things a bit. But I guess my ask for outreach for anyone on the call, if you can think of an organization that is typically not plugged in to this type of work at all, invite them to come. Even if they, because they might, I remember in our info session, we talked about some of the volunteers shared, like, well, I've never really done anything like this before. I'm not sure if I can, is this really the place for me? And we came to the conclusion that it was, right? And so the more diversity and voices and perspectives that we have in the room, the better solutions will be designed, especially with that like super quick timeline. We need the voices in the room. Um, One thing to note is that participants can come just on Friday and they can decide, cool, well, I'm not really gonna keep working on it, but I came to like I helped out a team for the day, and then the that team would assign someone to actually take the lead and continue working on something. So if someone wants to come for just a couple hours, sit around and like figure out how they can share, their perspective, that's definitely welcome. Oh, and last, we don't have any official like press confirmed. So if anyone has any like contacts for press, that would be very helpful. Because it'd be cool to just have, someone highlighting what's happening there. Right. Logistics day of. Um, for this, Maria just put this on the chat as well, and it's already in Slack. We did create a survey not a survey, a sign up link where you can actually select shifts. Do you want to add anything to that, Maria?
No, it's very simple. It's a form. You guys can choose multiple shifts if you want, and it's pretty basic. We have only two like roles, and that's it. Anything, please let me know if you have any questions.
And then she dropped that in the chat, and then like I said, it's also in the Slack channel. They are volunteers. I initially it kicks off very straightforward. We're setting up when we need help with check-in, especially with the influx of people coming in. We do have a QR code that people use to check in. I'm hoping it doesn't turn into a bottleneck because we'll have a lot of people there. So I would say we need at least 5 people sitting at the check-in table when we start. The check-in table will also consist of passing out some of the t-shirts until it's first come, first serve. So once we run out, we run out. So then we might need figuring out who's dedicated to t-shirts after they have checked in. It is required that they have to check in because we want to, just for our impact metrics as well, have clarity on like who's here, who will be receiving communication reminders for the deadlines, etc. After that, I think our logistics volunteers kind of switch to being floaters because things will just come up, right? Oh, we need someone to meet the pizza guy, or we need somebody to whatever it is. So just expect to move around. I think what I'm going to try to do, we will have just the sticky badges for folks. So at the lowest, we'll have a sticky badge where you'll write volunteer on it. But if we're able to get like some badges for y'all, we might do that, and that way people know like where are the volunteers. And then our tech support team is designed set up here to just help us with the Slack, especially as we get some of these challenges in, creating the Slack groups for the different challenges, any troubleshooting that might happen as dev post deadline comes up and people might say, hey, the link's not working or blah, 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 blah. So that's kind of the tech support team I feel it would be helpful to have y'all like on call almost for the weekend digitally, just to be checking in on that Slack channels and see if anyone's running into any issues. I also would love for our tech support team to, if you haven't already, to sign up to be a mentor and an expert the day of. That obviously you have transferable skills. So I feel like folks could really use benefit from your knowledge. And then that's presentation wise, that's it. That's all it had. That's a quick status update. Our next 3 key steps is literally still inviting people to sign up officially on Eventbrite. That helps us have headcount to participate. Um, Team coordination can already be happening on Slack. So the Slack channels are there. I've y'all seen some people are already introducing themselves, kind of saying their skill sets, and I think if once we populate a few more projects. And then Zane, I did see you sent me something with the list of like a pull down of the projects from GitHub. So that'll be super helpful if we could even just upload that on Slack.
Yeah,
Um,
I just need to make it a little bit more presentable, and then that's my fault. I apologize, but I'll send that to you over today.
No, that's perfect. That will make it easier because sometimes GitHub can get confusing.
Yeah,
So if I literally just you pop that in there on the Hugh Hack 2025 channel, that would be perfect. And then lastly, the last step will be submitting. So there's a dev post already set up where people can start once the teams get formed, they can create their profiles, etc. So I'm going to stop sharing. Um, we have a few minutes left. Any questions from y'all? No? Okay. I was super thorough, I know. I
Yeah,
just
I
want to
have a
make
quick
sure y'all
question.
were, go ahead.
Sorry, yeah, I just have a quick question. So we can like participate as well, right? The
Yes.
volunteers.
Yes, correct. I think ideally if you sign up for at least one shift that day of, then you can we have a good amount of volunteers. Like I said, a few are not on the call right now, so we have more. So if you can at least do one shift and then you can move to participate. Anything else?
Is this only like the second hackathon, or how long has it been happening?
Yeah, so we found a video from 2015 that said it
Oh,
was
wow.
the third annual. So it's more than 10 years. We didn't have it because when COVID happened, since COVID, we only had a virtual one and then we had one more in person. So yeah, it's a little like maybe 12 years, something like that. But
That's
this is
cool.
the first large one back after the COVID, like the big one. So this is reminiscent of the previous hackathons back in the day. All right. Well, thank you all so much for joining. I'm going to stop recording.